This is our second recorded conversation with Mr.
Lobe.
Jean Lobe of Waspito.
Waspito, yeah.
We are in Yaoundé, Cameroon.
Yeah.
Cameroon,
best country in the world.
best country in the world.
Yes.
And vitally, we will start by flagging what you can expect to learn, dear viewer, in the next few minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to learn a little bit about your backstory.
Yes, we can learn about backstory.
We're going
For
to
sure.
find out, is this a copycat platform or are we seeing something unique and indigenous created here in Cameroon on this continent that was not dreamt up elsewhere? So let's go. What do we want to do, backstory or are you unique?
Backstory. Let's start with backstory.
And then we'll answer the question.
We'll answer the question.
Is this sui generis?
Absolutely. So backstory here is, okay, born in a small town in Cameroon called Kumba. Many Cameroonians will already have an idea what Kumba is.
I forgot to tell you, you're very soft-spoken, and there's a microphone and background noise.
Okay, good. So we have to...
If you can speak as loudly as you can.
All right. All right, good. So basically, I'm from a town called Kumba in Cameroon. It's like 4 hours away from Yaoundé, where we are right now. Born in what you would call in Cameroon a middle class family. My dad, my late dad, was a teacher. My mom was a trader, a businesswoman. She's Nigerian. She's from Nigeria. So they met in Cameroon, in Kumba, and then Jean came about. So did all my education in the English part of Cameroon. My dad is a French-speaking Cameroonian, so from Littoral. But myself, because of the English education, I call myself an Anglophone today because I can express myself a lot better in English. So that background was, I would say, humble, very humble beginnings, because we have the classic challenges that most families will have in a country like Cameroon. There are days when you don't know whether you eat. So we call it middle class here because your parents have a job, they have a salary, but if you want to go within the context of all the Western world, is not middle class. It's really humble beginnings.
I'm glad you're getting into this because I wanted you to flesh it out. Could you describe what a day in your childhood looked like, what going to school looked like, what kind of school?
So number one, public school, not a private school for sure. Very affordable school fees. School fees per year would be something less than $20 the whole year. And then we have to walk to school. At times you walk for like an hour. Okay. So an hour, 30 minutes. So I had to leave my home, walk with friends and schoolmates, and we go to school.
Hour and 30.
And hour 30 minutes. And then you have something less than 20% of a dollar. I don't know, is that pence? How do you call the
20 cents?
20 cents to eat in school every day.
Okay.
You just buy maybe a donut during your break, and that's it. Come back home, you're not sure whether there will be food that day. So it's really that bad. Looking at it from now, but at that time we knew that was life. So we're still happy kids trying to get a good education. We didn't know any better. We didn't know different from that. So we're happy kids trying to study hard. Always came out to be one of the best kids in the national exams, the public school students, because this is just naturally motivated people who want to be better. So that was how a day in the life of my childhood looked like. We ate for sure, and then we moved to secondary university. We had to go to another city for university because we have very few universities in Cameroon at the time. I would say about 10. Every region had one, if I'm not mistaken, or like 6 out of the 10 regions had universities in them. Yeah, I think in our days. So I moved to university, studied accounting there with the ACCA program in the UK to become a professional accountant, and then went to Douala, where most Cameroonians who want to get corporate jobs would go to. Douala and Yaoundé. I went to Douala and started my first job as an intern in a bank. That's $100 job. That was pretty cool. Per month.
Oh my.
Yeah. And that's where most of the...
Roughly $3 per day?
Exactly. I mean...
In what year?
That was 2010.
Okay.
So that's 14 years ago.
14 years ago, you were making $3 a day.
$3 a day.
You look like $1 million right now.
Thank you. So
you said because of the business climate here, when you show up for executives in
yes,
Yaoundé,
you have to look smart, because Yaoundé is an administrative place. You want to look serious, and they have they want to make sure they have serious people in front of them, because they have to see many people every day. Okay. So you don't want to come with my normal outfit will be a polo shirt and jeans. That's even at office every day. So, but when I'm in Yaoundé, I have to look like this. So that's why I look like how you describe it today. Like
$1 million.
$1 million.
You're making to take us back to 2010. Was it $3 a day?
Yeah.
Accountant,
yeah.
intern.
Yeah, in at a bank. And
intern or starting?
Intern.
Okay.
The operations department. So that year, I did the whole year with that bank. It was difficult for me to even eat then. So mind you, this keyword for me is eat, because I think one of the next chapters of what we're doing now, I will talk to you about my goal or my ambition around hunger, right? Hunger eradication. So I will keep mentioning feeding. So I couldn't eat every day because with $3 transport to go to the place is about $2.50. So you're left with nothing. So then you have to eat at home. You have to do other things. I didn't have a house. I stayed in my friend's parlor, living room, a small mattress on the floor for the whole first year. Thank you again to my friend David. David brought me to Douala. Thank you so much. David, I was with David for a few months, and then Femi, the second friend. Thank you guys. I really appreciate what you did back then. They gave me space in their place, and so I could move to work and back. So 1 year with the bank, then later on I joined an audit firm, got something a little bit better, $500 a month. I don't know what that is per day because we look at salaries here per month. Right. So about $500 a month. Started working there with the audit firm for about 1 year. And then later on, I started working with Cameco. Cameco is the airline that we were talking about earlier. You now know why I like them, yeah? So I did just 3 months with Cameco, then I moved to British American Tobacco, where I switched now to HR. HR, after the assessment center, with over 1,000 something Africans who were selected for the management training program. I was one of the 5 selected in the whole of Africa. They're only from Cameroon at the time. And we moved to Lagos. So I got the management training program, graduated within 1 year instead of 2. I was sent to Algeria, we mentioned that earlier, to be the acting head of HR at the factory in Oran in Algeria, where the BAT factory was. Spent about 5 years in BAT, and then fortunately the tragedy hit with my father dying. And that's what got me to think again that, hey, am I on the right track in terms of career path? Yeah. This man who was my best friend and his last child, boy, and he wanted me to be a medical doctor. I wanted to do other things. Yeah. So it struck me hard. I said, hey, I need to think about this problem. I know many other Africans are facing the same problem. Mm-hmm. That's when I got to realize that 500 million Africans have to travel to see a medical doctor. Yeah. So I started thinking about, and this will switch into the answer to the question we mentioned in terms of, is this indigenous or is this a copycat? Yeah. So I started looking at the problem from, okay, how do I get Africans to get access to medical doctors without necessarily having their phone numbers? And I saw that the best way to do it is by technology. You know, we are in the just getting through the fourth industrial revolution right now. Yeah. Technology is a lot more accessible here. You know, there's internet. You have developers here in Africa who can build great platforms. I even self-taught myself how to code PHP to do the first prototype of this platform. And I used the next 2 years after I resigned from BAT to learn how to code and be able to try and build a platform where doctors can be on one end, patients can be on the other end. While I was doing that, I realized other people have done things like this before. I understood that there are platforms like Dr. Lobe in France and many other platforms around the world, even in Africa, hundreds of startups trying to solve this problem with health technology. But I realized 2 key things. Number one, the unfortunate thing is we treat our bodies like we do our cars in Africa. Very unfortunate. It's the day that you try to start it and it doesn't start, that's when you start looking for the mechanic. Right. We are not proactive in terms of managing our care. Preventative maintenance. We don't do that here. You know, you see lots of cars breaking down on the road because we don't go to see the mechanic every other time. Yeah?
Thanks for explaining that.
You're welcome.
One of the puzzles, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome. So basically, looking at that, I said, okay, all these other health tech platforms, if you're doing a situation where you think people are proactive, where they'll go and book an appointment to see a doctor, then it won't work in Africa. People don't know that thing that, hey, the upper class, middle and upper class in Africa, they've traveled before, they have their specialist doctors, they know that they can book an appointment and see later. But the normal person on the street knows that they are really sick, they have to see the doctor today. Yeah. They go there, stand in the office, stand on the queue for about 4 or 5 hours, but they're seeing the doctor now, right? So I said that has to be different on our platform. Secondly, because of this absence of proactive management of care, I said we might want to make a network. That's where the health social network kicked in. I said to have people active on the platform. Like today, if you need the app only when you're sick, that means how many times do you fall sick in a year? 2, 3 times? It means you can hear about the app today in June, and then you fall sick in maybe November. You've forgotten about the app. You just go to the hospital. So I said we have to do something to keep users engaged. You know, there are many topics on Facebook. You know, people go on Facebook, they want to talk about sexual health. But you join a group, your friend knows that you're in that group. You say, hey, why is he in that group? You join a group about maybe say HIV/AIDS, and then you know it's very sensitive in terms of, especially in this part of the world. So people cannot express themselves well in this group, ask questions to doctors and get some answers. Even though they are not sick, they just want to understand these pathologies. So I said we have to build something where users will be anonymous on the platform. They can go back to that platform every week, get information, talk to doctors for free, and then when they fall sick, which will happen eventually every year at some point, then they can just go to their favorite doctor on the platform and try to consult that doctor. So that's how we started putting the pieces together to form Waspito.
So before we stop this segment, I'm going to ask a few questions to make sure that we all understand some things accurately and precisely. By the way, this beautiful background, we're on the Catholic University campus Yaoundé of the Central African
Catholic University Group.
Catholic University Group of Central Africa.
Yes.
Anyways, thanks for hosting the great conference of CACAI.
Yes.
I think that's correct.
That's it, yes. CACAIS.
Kake or Sase or Kase. Anyways, correct us in the comments about pronunciation. But back, so we thanked where we are, that's important. And now to verify that we understood a few things accurately.
Yeah.
You, when your father died, you actually quit for 2 years to learn coding?
Exactly.
You actually resigned from a job at BAT at a factory. You had tasted what it's like to live on $3 to $5 a day, and now you were going to zero salary?
Exactly, and to even be more precise, my salary at BAT is way more than what I described at the time. You know, I was an expert in several countries, covered about 15 countries in West and Central Africa in terms of where I have to travel to these countries almost every other month. So it was, the dream job for most Cameroonians. You know, most people would not even believe that you leave a job like that. I mean, I had to convince my mom over the phone for about an hour. I was already married by then as well, so it was a big debate.
Congratulations.
At home. Thank you.
Were there offspring?
Yes, with one child.
One child.
Yes, at the time. Now there are two.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
So you had a child, a wife, a great job, and you were ready to quit them.
Absolutely.
Well, not the child and the wife, but quit
quit the job.
Quit the main income for the family.
Exactly. So it was very difficult.
What was the winning argument?
So me was I told them, listen, this is a bigger picture in terms of what we're trying to solve. And me as a human being, from when I was young, I've always looked at myself like someone who will solve big problems. I didn't think selling cigarettes was a good problem I was solving, you know, especially in the African context. Are you giving people a healthy product? You know, things like that. It's a good paying job. But I said there was a bigger picture to address. And I'm a Pan-African mindset kind of person where I think Africans to try and solve their problems themselves. So I wouldn't sit back and watch somebody else come solve this when I felt it firsthand and I know it's possible to solve. So this was my argument to these people, especially my loved ones, family especially. But the other thing that helped me was that they trust me. They know I'm a jack of a few trades, master of all those few trades. I don't do things to waste time. So anything that I'm not very good at, I don't do it, even for fun. So football, I'm not playing because I'm not one of the best. Even for fun, I wouldn't do it. I consider it wasting my time. So I'll try to do only things that I know I will win at. So I know most of the things I'm really passionate at, I would find every way to be able to win and be one of the outstanding people doing that thing. So once I realized there was enough passion for me to pursue this particular project, I told my wife, you know me when it comes to trying to do things excellently. She said yes. I said, let me do this. And that was not the end of the sacrifice for her. We had to sell our house, sell my dream car that I bought at the time, sell all my property. It was Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, it's like $100,000 Benz at the time. Yes, I had to sell it to start Waspito. Sell our house. We went back to renting because in the culture. Give you some background. In this part of the world, is one of the biggest achievements for most of us Africans is that you have a family, you have a small house that is your own, you're not paying rents, and then you have a small car that you can drive. That's usually the dream for most of us growing up. So I was really living that dream. I canceled that, went back to renting, start from zero, because you had to hire a team. You know, we'll talk about that when we talk about the challenges of building a business like this. But I had to make that sacrifice, and my wife stood by me through then. Family stood by me, and then
should we give them either anonymously or by name? Should we give them a shout
Natalie. Shout out to Natalie, my lovely wife. She's been my best friend for 22 years now, since high school. Yeah, so she is a key pillar behind the success of what
This
we
is
do.
normally not what I ask about, but how did you know? They say that the person that you marry should be somebody that you're willing to go to war with, somebody that you
Exactly.
trust, you'll have each other's back.
Exactly.
How did you know?
So
What are the telltale signs that somebody should stay in?
So
This is-
yeah, it's a very good question, difficult to answer because I wouldn't tell you clearly what made it. It's a feel, it's a je ne sais quoi.
Okay.
In terms of, I mean, this was the person that, high school, if you're a young guy and you're trying to explore life, you have some friends here and there. But once I found this friend, I knew that, oh, this is the one. This is a person I'm never bored around because it's important for me. I mentioned earlier, I don't like to waste my time. So I like to make my time valuable and every time. So this was the one person with whom it's always exciting to be around. We have good conversations, good company for me. I said, okay, this is someone I want to spend the rest of my life with. So I can't put my finger on all the other things, but I knew this is my best friend for real in terms of the person I can't go a day without seeing. And after high school, when we were in the university, we started living together till today. That's about 17 years now. Together.
Would you say the same thing to take it back to entrepreneurship and starting an organization? That feeling, that je ne sais quoi, that you're never bored with somebody. Is there anything else that when you translate this to the business environment, that somebody's going to be a good partner, a good employee? Is it the same? Do you want to add it? Is there anything you'd add?
Exactly. I think it's that plus now we look at problem solving. I didn't have that expectation of my wife. I knew when we were talking, when we're having conversation, when we're freestyling like we're doing today, answers will come for most of the problems. But I look at problem solving capabilities for most of people that I want to bring to the team because we are solving a huge problem. And it's not just a problem that we click one button to solve. You're solving several small problems to get to that big picture of the problem that we're solving. So that's one thing I would add to in terms of a capability, leadership capability that I would expect every potential team member to have before we get to join the team.
So looking for problem-solving ability. I like that one.
Yep.
What else did we say we'd get to? I thought we were just clarifying a few things. You quit for 2 years, you learned to program, and then you, like any good person starting something new, you asked, come on, how have people approached this in a similar way? And you are both similar but different. It is sui generis. It was inspired by your own personal tragedy. But you did explore, you saw things that were similar to what you wanted to create. That's the right way to put it?
Yes, that's the right way to put it. Because, I wouldn't sit here to pretend that telemedicine started in Cameroon by Waspito. No. But we started a precise telemedicine solution, something that's fit for purpose for the African problem, where we understand that you can't build a platform where people will need only when they're sick, because they will never download it, they will never use it at the end of the day. And you can't build a platform where people will go and book appointments to talk to a doctor later. I know many of the platforms will tell you the challenge to face in that direction. Adoption is slower. At Waspito, you go on the platform now, you consult the doctor now. It doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. Even the best of platforms in the world, you have to book an appointment.
How many seconds to connect?
It's like 3 seconds. We can try it after the video.
Let's do it. The next segment, segment 3. That is a perfect teaser.
Yeah.
Stay tuned to see what it looks like. And somebody has to create a login first. They have to
I'll do with my phone.
Really?
We'll just go. Yeah, we'll call the doctor and we'll see if they're available to pick up right away.
Okay, there we go.